The Grand Hall of the Veritas Academy buzzed with anticipation. Tonight wasn't just any debate. It was a clash of worlds, a confrontation between faith and reason, represented by two unlikely figures. 14-year-old Omar, a devout Muslim, and Dr. Alastair Finch, a renowned astrophysicist and outspoken atheist. The topic: the Quran and modern science, coincidence or divine foresight? Dr. Finch, a man whose silver hair and piercing gaze commanded respect, opened with a confident sweep of his hand. The Quran, while a beautiful piece of literature, is a product of its time. Any perceived scientific accuracy is merely fortunate coincidence, a case of finding patterns where none were intended. He projected an image of the cosmos, swirling galaxies, and complex nebulae. Science relies on verifiable evidence, repeatable experiments. Faith relies on belief. Omar, small in stature but radiating a quiet confidence, stepped forward. He wasn't intimidated. He'd spent years studying both the Quran and scientific texts, guided by his grandfather, a retired professor of Islamic studies. Dr. Finch, with all due respect, the Quran isn't trying to be a science textbook. It's a guide to life. But within its verses are signs, ayat, that speak to the workings of the universe, signs that were revealed over 1,400 years ago, long before modern science confirmed them. He clicked a remote, displaying a verse from Surah Al-Anbiya, 21:33. And he is the one who created the night and the day, and the sun and the moon, all created in an orbit. For centuries, Omar continued, his voice gaining strength. People believed the sun orbited the earth. The Quran, however, clearly states that both the sun and moon swim in an orbit. This wasn't deduced through observation with primitive tools. It was revealed. Dr. Finch scoffed. A poetic description, easily misinterpreted. Many ancient cultures had similar cosmological ideas. Omar countered. But did they describe the expansion of the universe? Surah Al-Adriyat 51:47 states, "And the heaven we constructed with strength, and indeed, we are its expander." This verse predates Edwin Hubble's discovery of the expanding universe by over a millennium. How could a 7th century poet have known this? The hall was silent. Dr. Finch shifted uncomfortably. He brought up the topic of embryology, citing the Quran's description of fetal development in Surah Al-Mu'minun 23:14. Then we made the sperm into a clinging clot. Then we made the clot into a small lump of flesh. Then we made the small lump of flesh into bones. And then we clothed the bones with flesh. Remarkably accurate for its time, Dr. Finch conceded, but still observational. Early anatomists could see these stages. But the Quran describes these stages in the exact order they occur. Dr. Finch, Omar pressed. And it mentions the formation of the zygote, the implantation of the embryo, and the development of the nervous system. Details unknown until the advent of modern embryology. Furthermore, Surah Ar-Rahman 55:20 speaks of two seas meeting, between them a barrier that do not transgress. This perfectly describes the phenomenon of haloclines, the meeting of salt water and fresh water, creating a visible barrier due to differing densities, only discovered in the 20th century. Dr. Finch, visibly flustered, attempted to steer the conversation towards the limitations of interpreting religious texts scientifically. You're cherry-picking verses, young man. You're imposing modern scientific understanding onto ancient text. Omar calmly replied, "I'm simply pointing out the remarkable consistency between the Quran's descriptions and scientific discoveries. It's not about imposing, it's about recognizing. The Quran doesn't claim to prove God's existence. It offers signs for those who reflect. These signs, once hidden, are now being unveiled by science itself. It's an echo of revelation, resonating through time." The audience erupted in applause. Dr. Finch, defeated but dignified, offered a curt nod. The debate wasn't about winning or losing. It was about opening minds, about recognizing the profound wisdom embedded within a text that had guided billions for centuries. As Omar left the stage, he knew this was just the beginning of a much larger conversation.